Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for embarrassing my brother in front of the whole family? I, 36 male, am married to a wonderful woman, 34. When we first got married 8 years ago, I was making about $36K, and she was making $230K. Fast forward a year, and we welcome a sweet baby girl. After her maternity leave was up, I took my vacation to stay with my baby. Well, I found out that being a dad and taking care of the house is 1000 times better than working in a stressful office. We discussed it, and I became a full-time SAHD. I like being a SAHD. I even enjoy keeping the house clean, cooking, taking care of the kids. 7F. 4 male and 1 male. Being involved in the mom groups, Little League, etc. The only person who seems to have a problem with things is my older brother, 44 male. I don't know how, but despite being raised by parents who are very much champions of equal rights, he grew up to be the embodiment of man provides and guides, woman makes home and follows, which is why he is a 2x divorcee who has terrible relationships with his kids. For the past 7 years he has been making jokes about me, trying to imply that I'm less of a man because my wife earns money while I play little wife. I ignore him if I'm in the mood to, or just shake my head at him. Well, my wife and I were drunk one time and we came up with a bit of an naughty solution. He gives major vibes of being a prude and is casually homophobic tbh. So when he made a joke last Sunday along the lines that if you were married to a man, you would 100% be the bottom, I hit him with funny you say that. I'm a bottom. Wife really knows how to use a dildo and harness to make a man see the starts. He turned so red. Everyone kind of let out a shocked laugh and he finally shut up. After a while he said that he did not want to hear about what I do with my wife in our bedroom. I said if he keeps his comments to himself, I would have no reason to share. But today mom called me to say that he refuses to attend Sunday dinner if I'm there unless I apologize. I refuse to and mom is now the one feeling bad. So am I the antagonist? This is how you politely reject marriage advice from a deadbeat father who has been through 2 divorces. Tell her that he is no longer welcome. I apologize. I can tell you're quite insecure. In theory, it is an apology. He holds some very flawed beliefs about what defines a man. Comment by team member Alex. Now for the top comments. Haha, this is amazing. Not the a-hole. You're so right. If he doesn't wanna hear that sort of stuff, he shouldn't be making those sort of comments. Doesn't want to hear anything about ops sex life but brings up ops sex life. I was thinking the same thing. In for a penny. In for a pounding. NTA. Edit. A little surprised by all the awards here, but thank you. Man. I wish I could think of clever puns too. NTA at all. Oh no, your mom who is sticking up for your asshole brother won't come to dinner. Such a loss. You certainly don't know your brother an apology for anything. If anything, he owes you an apology for being such an immature, judgmental, probably jealous asshole for years, because you seem to be enjoying your life much more than him. Am I the antagonist for refusing to cut my hair for my sister's wedding? Throwaway account. I, 25 male, am a long-haired dude. For some background, my hair currently goes down to about the bottom of my rib cage. I've had long hair since I was about 5 years old and haven't had a haircut that sat above my collarbone since. It's just how I like it. My sister, 29F, who we'll call Sarah, is getting married to her fiancé at the end of the summer. Recently, she asked me if I could cut my hair for her wedding. I told her I was planning on getting a trim before the wedding, but wasn't really going to be changing much. She proceeds to show me pictures of guys with various hairstyles, but they were all very short, more traditional haircuts, and asked me to pick one and get it cut short. I told her I had no interest in doing that. She proceeds to go off, telling me that I'd stand out too much in photographs, that her fiancé has some conservative members of his family that wouldn't approve of my hair, and that family is supposed to do anything for one another. I told her I wouldn't do anything crazy with my hair. I'm known to wear some fun braids, but I understand that a wedding isn't the place for that. She screamed at me saying that, "You're just doing this to draw attention to yourself and to ruin my big day." I told her if my hair was that much of a problem, she was more than welcome to uninvite me. Then I would be drawing zero attention away from her and she could have the perfect wedding photo she dreamed of. My family seems pretty split on the issue. My mom called saying that I'm a massive asshole and that I'm not supporting my sister. But honestly she's always disliked my long hair. My dad, who's always encouraged the man-made as he calls it, said I should stick to my guns. I'm a little torn on the issue. I do love my sister and I do really want to celebrate her and my new brother-in-law. But it would take literally years for my hair to grow back to where I like it. Am I the antagonist? I find it incomprehensible that your sister would ask you to consider chopping your hair for a wedding. A man bun has a higher chance of drawing notice than a haircut. If you were a woman, everyone would be screaming at your sister for making you get a haircut. Comment by team member Corey. Now for the top comments. So you've been plotting this showing up of your sister for attention since you started grade school? Talk about sticking to goals. NTA. He's really been playing the long game. I gotta respect that, NTA. So, she cares about her fiance's family members' feelings and at the same time doesn't care about yours. Her own brother. Wow. NTA. NTA. If family will do anything for each other, she should defend your hairstyle from her conservative in-laws. NTA. So, you grew your hair out from the age of 5 just so you could steal all the attention on her wedding day. That's some long-term planning there. What your sister and people like her don't get is that any drastic change to a guest's appearance will cause a lot more attention than the original look, because those that know you will comment on it, which will spread all around the guests. Now that really would be stealing attention. Keep your hair. Might last longer than the marriage. Am I the antagonist for not correcting my kids who told my ex's wife she's not their mother? I have 2 sons ages 10 and 12 with my ex. We broke up over a number of issues, one of which was Emily, a woman he had worked with for years. The two of them grew very close, and she was always telling me how my ex deserved better than me, that I was trying to steal his family away from him. A few times she even pretended to be his wife during work functions and my ex would laugh them off, as well as that he was really bad with money and other stuff. After we separated he made things official with Emily, which came as no surprise to me. Emily was even more openly hostile when she realized my ex's family still liked me and would still include me. Not to mention, when she realized my boys weren't super happy she was their dad's new girlfriend. Emily actually called ex's mom a C//NT for saying I was the best mom when they were all having a family dinner. My ex got a firm warning from the judge about using Emily to do exchanges of our boys and to deal with custody issues. This was after her confronting me a number of times during exchanges in front of my children, and of her showing not just hostility, but saying things that could be taken as alienation of a parent. He continued to allow this, and ex was fined for breaching the judge's orders. He was told if it happened again custody would be modified. Recently there has been an increase in the anger toward me. Emily is unable to have children and she wanted the boys to consider her a mom. They asked me for help and I said nope. That Emily was not the mother of my children and I wasn't going to encourage them to consider her one after the years of verbal abuse from her. The boys had an award night back at the start of June at school, and while there, Emily told the boys to get in photos with her for the school newsletter. They said no. She told them she wasn't asking. They said she wasn't their mom, so she couldn't say that. My ex scolded the boys, but I said nothing. Ex and Emily said I should have backed them up and not allowed disrespect. I told them I did not find what they said disrespectful. They have claimed I'm a shitty parent and I should not have let my kids get away with that. And I'm teaching them to disrespect women, etc. So now I'm here to find out, am I the antagonist? Sounds like Emily wasn't that nice to your kids either, and now suddenly that it's useful to her she suddenly wants to build a relationship with them. X is a fool. He is going to allow his wife to cost him his kids both in their hearts and in the courts. Comment by team member Shannon. Now for the top comments. NTA, they stated facts. Also hilarious that they are compliant about not showing disrespect. Does this behavior qualify going back? to get the custody modified in your favor? Because honestly, your boy's mental health is going to be continuously harmed by those 2 hours. This does not qualify going back. There was no big meltdown and cussing me out, so the judge wouldn't care. NTA, she's not their mother and they aren't substitutes or stand-ins because she has fertility issues. They are 10 and 12. And all she and your ex are going to do is alienate them and permanently damage their relationship with your boys if they don't learn to back off. Yup. Experienced similar as a kid. Grew up to hate both my parents. Girlfriend needs to get over her obsession with Opus. Dad needs to put kids first. Yes. This is exactly it. The girlfriend has a weird obsession with Opus. This is why she's making it so hard. She got involved with a married man and she's pissed off that she is not immediately being touted as better than the previous woman. Now she's trying to steal her kids. Unrightfully pissed off that the boyfriend's family still likes baby mama. Why the hell would the new girlfriend, who is not a mom, be mad at an actual mom was called a good mom? It's just because she's the ex and new girlfriend is being jealous. She wants to be seen as the only woman, not the other woman. But that's what happens when you get involved with a married man. She made her bed and she's mad at everybody else that she has to sleep in it. Newsflash, your partner's had a life before you came into it. You getting into a relationship with somebody does not erase their entire life history. Definitely not the a-hole. Girlfriend is tar. And ex-husband is also tar to you and your kids. The fact that she already wants to be seen as their mom shows that this has been going on between the 2 of them far longer than you know. I'm so sorry you're dealing with this, and I hope you heal and find happiness for you and your children. Am I the antagonist for prioritizing my sister over my wife? My wife, 29F, and I, 29 male, have been married for 2 years. I have a younger sister, 22F, whom I'm close with. My sister is a painter, and she is very talented. She usually participates in these art exhibitions, where she shows her paintings to the public. She invited me several times to go before, but I was not able to attend due to my work. In fact, the last time I said yes but then I had to decline. She asked me again, and the timing was finally perfect. So I agreed, and she even made me promise her that I will attend. The last time she was very disappointed and pissed. Suddenly, my wife tells me that her boss in her new job is having his wedding that day and he invited the employees, each with a +1. My wife wants me to come with her and the wedding is in another city, so I can't attend the 2 events. I told her I can't come because I already said yes to my sister. She tells me that it is a new job and it is very important for her career. I apologized but I can't do the same thing with my sister again. She then goes off about how I'm being unsupportive and prioritizing my sister over her. Since then we are still not back to normal. So am I the antagonist? You've let your sister down too many times for her to be the priority. This is gaslighting, toxic, and inaccurate. Simply said, your wife will have to adapt. When your wife inquired about this, you already had preparations in place, and nothing is preventing her from attending the wedding. Comment by team member Alex. Now for the top comments. NTA, I don't think your wife is going to get fired or have her career derailed because her husband has a prior unbreakable commitment and can't accompany her to her boss wedding. If anything, it might even send a message that she is an independent woman who is not joined at the hip to her spouse. Not a bad impression to cultivate for women in the business world. No, your wife just wants you to come and ditch your sister again, and that is so selfish. You are not picking someone over her. You are keeping a promise. I would think your wife would be glad to be married to someone who does that. Sounds about right to me. His reason for not being there can also resound to ops credit, and by proximity the wife's when/if it's given. My CL has pieces in an art exhibition in City X. He's attending the opening with her to support her. Phrases like "we were a little bummed about the conflicting events and not being to attend both together, and we are excited for CL and new boss would understand" are also good. It speaks of good family values and support for the regional arts community. Good employers love that stuff. Yeah, if you play this right it looks glowing for ops wife. plus the absolute certainty that your spouse won't commit some faux pas. Not saying op would, but I have anxiety and would definitely take some comfort knowing that the only person there whose actions will reflect on me is me. NTA sounds like your wife was sitting on the info. So bad luck for her. I don't think you're prioritizing your sister over your wife. Your sister just asked you first and you committed. Am I the antagonist for leaving the restaurant after my BF refused to pay for my meal? I had lent my BF some money few weeks ago because of something he needed, and he promised to pay me back ASAP. He was supposed to pay me back 5 days ago, but something came up and he didn't. I tried to be patient. Yesterday we had planned to go out with some friends at night for dinner. Yesterday after I came back from work I was robbed in the bus, and I had all my money and cards stolen. I cancelled my cards, but the bank customer service told me my new card with my new details, both physical card and the digital details for Apple Pay, would be available the following morning, because the banks were closed that afternoon. So I had no money. When we went to dinner with my BF and friends I told my BF if he could just pay me back the money or at least pay for my meal, since I have no money. He didn't exactly say yes or no. Just a simple don't worry. As we ordered he only ordered for himself and told me that he can't cover for mine at the moment, so I better not order anything and just have some bites from his meal. I was so mad and frustrated because he had promised to give me back the money. He then claimed something came up and couldn't give them back, but then ordered a nice meal for himself and just told me to get his scraps because he wouldn't pay me back or at least for my meal. I'd be the only one sitting there with no meal in front of me. I said this is ridiculous, and I got up and left. Our friends now believe it was very low of me to get up and leave and how I should just be polite and stay there. I can't quite understand that logic, but is there any way I'm tar? He should have bought you dinner if he didn't owe you money. Most behavior is understandable after being robbed, even if he wasn't broke, which his meal selection suggests he wasn't. He could have ordered something small, and you'd have gotten something similar. Comment by team member Corey. Now for the top comments. Excuse me, your friend said what? OMG, I would be fuming. Your boyfriend completely humiliated you and your friends who were there. Don't see this as a problem. Dump the boyfriend and the friends, not the a-hole. Yes, they also said I ruined the mood and caused a scene by leaving, and I made it awkward for everyone there. You didn't deserve that. Nobody comes to AITA because they have a good support system. You need to change your support system, friends, so you can let go of your selfish boyfriend and not be made to feel bad about it. You got robbed twice, once by your BF, once by a stranger, and to those friends I'd ask them what would have been more awkward, you leaving or you sitting there hungry whilst they ate and ignored that you had no food. Throw the lot of them away, not the a-hole. AITA, if you get any further harassment about this from anyone, send them here. We'll set them right. He owed you money. He should have paid your meal and not had one himself. This man is not worthy of being your boyfriend. And frankly, unless the friends didn't know the truth of the situation, they are awful also. NTA. Yeah, she should have been eating, not him. Not the a-hole. Am I the antagonist? For my response, when my boyfriend brought up the apartment perkery/ownership in front of his family? Context: I, F29, have been with my boyfriend Adam, M27, for 2.5 years. He's the queechy type. It's very hard to get him to open up about what bothers him. For now I'm the one with an income. We get along easily, though he can be a bit unreasonable sometimes. E.g. he doesn't cook cause he's worried I won't like his food, but still cooks for himself, and the smell's pretty telling that he's cooking is good. Another E.g. and that is he doesn't do most chores, saying he's worried he might break, damage something. It's frustrating, but we are working on fixing it. Now on to the more complicated issue. I'd put money aside since 2015 to buy an apartment, and I'm finally able to get it done this year. When I told him this, he got agitated and said I should wait a little longer till we are married. But I said no. He started complaining about how bad he feels about seeing me buy the apartment myself without having him contribute. I asked what I was supposed to do because it kinda sounded like a he problem, no offense, but He got so worked up and gave me 2 options. 1 is I put his name on the title. 2 is not buy the apartment till marriage, so it'll become shared marital asset. I said no and that was final, and he should drop it. He did eventually, at his family's house. I was taken aback when he started complaining about the apartment and again told me to either put his name on the title or wait till marriage to buy it, cause he feels like there's a huge power imbalance here and that he can't bring himself to accept it. He also said that it makes him feel like he contributes nothing. I snapped and said the reason you feel like you contribute nothing is because you literally contribute nothing, and I suggest you fix that by actually finding a job and having a decent income. His family looked shocked. He glanced at me then got up and walked away. I waited for him to come back, but had to go home cause his mom said he felt too overwhelmed and wanted some space. She then basically started shaming for my statement and hinted about financial abuse and control over her son. He's not home yet, demanding another tool about the apartment, probably expecting me to agree to one option. Edit in case it matters. He has a disability that limits his job opportunities. He uses emotional manipulation to avoid doing chores, cooks for himself, but not for you, and wants to put the apartment you worked so hard to save for 7 years in both of your names as a joint marital asset. There is no collaboration. Purchase the apartment. Entrance alone. Comment by team member Corey. Now for the top comments. NTA. First off, look up weaponized incompetence. Your BF is manipulating you into managing anything he views as inconvenient. As for this particular event, your boyfriend gathered people he suspected would be on his side and ambushed you in a convo that you already hadn't ended, and then has the audacity to complain about power balances? Is there anything this man does that isn't manipulative? Keep moving forward with your life, and don't hesitate to leave him by the wayside as you do. He's only going to hold you back while leeching as much as he can in the process. This holy crap. He did gather people who would be on his side and ambush you. It is a manipulative tactic, and he did it deliberately. Your BF is trying to bully you into getting an asset. I don't think he respects you at all. He's very selfish too. He'd be the kind of guy who'd leave you when you got sick in marriage. And don't expect him to ever change. If anything, this all will get worse. You will do 100% of everything and carry him through life on your back, which is exactly what he wants. In summation, my unemployed boyfriend, who does no housework, refuses to cook only for me. He will happily cook for himself and contributes nothing financially, expects me to give him half of my apartment. He wants this to be a marital asset because he wants to be able to take half of it freely when he walks away. Girl, you are not the a-hole. But why are you even in this relationship? I will seriously never understand these women who describe their men, and there's not a single positive attribute to him. Like, girl, you clearly have cognition enough to realize your boyfriend does sweet far for you. So why are you with him?